Good afternoon. My name is Nihal Rajiv from BBA Semester 6 Aviation. My topic is US Quality Revolution. The Quality Revolution in America was a response to competition from Japan. According to the Department of Trade and Industry, American companies never focused on quality. Japan began its quality initiatives during World War II as a way to enhance export of its military equipment. Japanese manufacturers emphasized quality as a way to ensure that their military equipments and parts could interoperate with other equipment manufactured in foreign countries. In a bid to counter the Japanese influence, American manufacturers started adopting quality standards after World War II. Efforts to become competitive in quality. During the 1960s and 1970s, a growing quality crisis became evident and company managers became increasingly concerned. Some upper managers recognized that the soundest response to a competitive challenge was to become more competitive. Not being trained or experienced in managing for quality, these same upper managers sought advice from the experts. Internal and external. As it turned out, most experts were specialized in tools and techniques and tended to assume that what they had to sell coincided with what the companies needed. As a result, a long list of potential strategies emerged, including exaltation of the workforce, organization and training of quality circles, statistical process control, awareness training for managers and supervisors, project by project quality improvement, preparation of complete manuals of procedure, revision of organization structure, incentives for quality, automated inspection and test, automation and robotics. In the minds of some journalists and industrialists, Japan's world leadership in product quality is the result of the lectures given 4 decades ago by two Americans, V. Edwards Deming and Joseph M. Joran. Now, Joseph M. Joran is a expert, which I think many expert, which I said in a previous slide, which I think many managers have adopted, and he has a video which I am going to show and explain later on. Japanese good would still be of Stone Age quality, but even if we had stayed home, the Japanese would have achieved world quality leadership. I think right now with companies of Japan like Daiso and Kengen, the America is more in evolved because Daiso's products are also like Chinese products because they do not seem to last longer, but their cost is still a little bit more higher than the Chinese products, and the quality is also a bit more better. But these days, from my personal experience, I think Japanese products are will not be trusted, as even the Chinese have started making better quality products, and these days even big industries openly claim that they are made their products in China or Turkey. So before the war, the Japanese had achieved competitive and even superior quality in certain areas. It was just that their priorities were far different from ours in the West. What Japan taught us about quality. In the minds of some journalists and industrialists, Japan's world leadership in product quality is the result of the lecture given 4 decades ago by two Americans, as I mentioned earlier, Joseph M. Joran and V. Edwards Deming. Xerox Corp is one example which I will give of how a financially powerful company allowed itself to be taken completely by surprise. In the 1950s and 60s, Xerox had a lock on a key industrial process: copying documents. Everybody wanted Xerox copies, and nobody could get them except by leasing a Xerox machine. The company was growing, and Xerox executives could look at their instruments and see sales, costs, and profits at a glance. But they had no meter showing customer satisfaction. The Xerox machines malfunctioned or broke down regularly, and Xerox executives knew it. They could have sent their designers back to the drawing board to redesign the machines so they wouldn't fail. Instead, they created a service force they could dispatch to fix the machines. As far as Xerox executives were concerned, that solved the problem. Xerox customers didn't agree. They wanted repairs. They wanted machines that didn't break down in the first place itself. This situation set the stage for the entry of competition, and the Japanese rushed in. The effect on market share became so devastating that Xerox's very survival came into question. Xerox had no lack of design engineers who might have corrected their problems, but it was largely product managers who decided what the design engineers should spend their time working on. Since the chief mission of product managers was to sell more copiers, they prodded the designers to come up with new product features that would translate into increasing sales, just like what Apple had done. The disparity in priorities was directly traceable to the content of the information package available to Xerox senior managers. The senior management lacked summarized information on field failures and their effect on customer relations, the performance of competing machines, and the extent of customer defections. Thank you. So now I would be showing the video of Joseph M. Juran. It's called Highlights from Juran on Quality Leadership.
The following are excerpted highlights from the 45-minute videotape, Juran on Quality Leadership. For details of the full-length version, please contact the copyright holder. Juran on Quality Leadership is a 45-minute video message for upper managers. It addresses the crucial questions of quality management faced by senior on its terms.
Let me start with the assumption that you want quality leadership. That is a safe assumption. So the real question is, how do we go from here to there? What must we do differently from what we have been doing? I'm going to propose some answers on how to go from here to there. These answers are derived from real-life experiences. Numerous companies have already been impacted by severe competition in quality, especially from abroad. This competition relates to quality in the sense of customer satisfaction and product salability. Other companies are severely impacted by quality problems in the form of product deficiencies, failures which create customer dissatisfaction, or which create high cost of poor quality. Many companies have tried to regain their quality leadership as to product salability. They have also tried to bring down the cost of poor quality. Some of the companies have made good progress, others have not. We at Juran Institute have received a good deal of feedback from many of those impacted companies. We've analyzed that feedback in order to identify the commonalities. What were the actions which converged to produce good results? What were the roads which led nowhere? My message is really a summary from all that feedback, a summary of the lessons learned. The first of our lessons learned is that most of those failures to make significant progress were due to a poor choice of strategy. As a result, the approach was doomed to failure no matter how well the execution was carried out. Let me explain the nature of that choice. The upper managers of those impacted companies looked over the options which were available to them. These and other options were urged on the managers by advocates, insiders as well as outsiders. The upper managers then made their choice from these options. Within 2 or 3 years, many reported that the choice they had made did not pay off. But why did so many companies choose strategies which failed? The main reason is that the upper managers, despite their competence as business managers, lacked adequate working knowledge of how to manage for quality. Lacking this knowledge and pressed for action now, the managers made a choice which seemed reasonable. In the dialect of the marksman, their choice was ready, fire, aim. But they would not have made such a choice had they been adequately grounded in the subject matter. That brings us to the next lesson learned. To make a wise choice of strategy, managers need adequate knowledge of how to manage for quality. The knowledge needed to manage for quality turns out to be surprisingly simple. It consists of just a few fundamental concepts. Once these fundamental concepts are grasped, managers can much more confidently apply their prior experience and training to formulate a sound strategy for quality leadership. Some of these concepts can be derived by analogy, by looking at the concepts which underlie financial management. Financial management makes use of 3 well-known processes. First, financial planning. This process sets out the business goals, develops the actions and resources needed to meet the goals, translates goals and action into money, and summarizes them into the financial budget. Second, financial control. This process goes by such names as cost control, expense control, and so on. Third, financial improvement. This process aims at doing better than the past. It takes such forms as cost reduction, purchase of new facilities to raise productivity, and so on. Managing for quality uses those same three processes. When we apply these three processes to managing for quality, they become quality planning, quality control, quality improvement. The three processes of this quality trilogy interact with each other. It all starts with quality planning, the process of establishing quality goals and developing the means for meeting those goals. Quality planning consists of a rather standardized series of steps as follows. Identify the customers, both external and internal. Determine customer needs. Develop product features which respond to customer needs. Products include both goods and services. Establish goals for those product features. Develop a process to meet the product goals. Prove that the process can meet the product goals under operating conditions. Once planning is complete, the process is turned over to the operating forces. Their job is quality control, to run the process and meet the planned product goals. Let me demonstrate with the help of a visual.
So I think I'm cutting short on the video, but because it's too long, and I have another video also to fit in by Steve Jobs, who later made his own new theory. But this video is called Highlights from Juran on Quality Leadership.
This old guy with the bow tie, Dr. Juran.
This is Steve Jobs also, and he has also mentioned his own views on Joseph Juran and quality.
America's in a tough spot right now, I think. I think we've forgotten the basics. We're so prosperous for so long that we took too many things for granted, and we forgot how much work it took to actually build and sustain those basic things that were supporting our prosperity. Things like a great education system, things like great industry. And we are now faced with relearning those things, going back to the basics and relearning them. And that's why I think Dr. Juran is so valuable, because he is standing right on the basic heart of the matter of why we are being out-manufactured, why we are being
Out-manufactured by Japan.
By Japan. It is not excuse me. It is not because the Japanese are tricking us. It's not because the Japanese are better intellectually. It's because we are being out-planned, we are being out-strategized, we are being out-manufactured, and there is nothing that can't be fixed, but we're not going to fix it up here. We're going to fix it by getting back to the basics of what we need to do.
There aren't an awful
I think
lot
this
of
another motivational speech given by
When
Jobs.
Joseph Juran walked in through these front doors, what struck you about Dr. Juran, the person?
I've had an opportunity to meet a few great people in my life, and they all have had one characteristic in common, which is that they treat everyone the same. Whether it's the janitor or the president of the company, whether it's the president of the United States or someone in a rural slum, they treat them exactly the same. And if a question is asked, they will directly answer that question to the best of their ability. The look in their eyes is exactly the same. And that was certainly true of Dr. Juran. Any question asked was the most important question that could have been asked at that moment as far as Dr. Juran was concerned. And the caring and
That's also a very
straightforwardness he expressed towards
important
every individual
entrepreneurial
made a big impression on us.
quality.
Now, of course, his awesome knowledge of the subject, but beyond his awesome knowledge of the subject, the way that he viewed people so optimistically that even the most foolish question was addressed with the greatest desire to transmit what he had learned in his life.
Everybody now certainly uses quality.
Okay, I'm going to cut short this also, but the video is called Steve Jobs on Joseph Juran and Quality, in case you would like to view it later on, or must have already. So and I think the last example I'll give is about something which I had read researching about the topic, is how Toyota was a company that from Japan that were facing many losses, and the way Japan uh, competed with America is by bringing in lean production and again just in time management and to fix a tight budget. And this was so powerful that that is what I think caused the revolution in the first place when Toyota launched its lean production and JIT method. So this is all for now. Thank you.